Kia ora, good evening. Bluff locals came together to express their concerns about less feet on the beat last night, and the Bluff Community Board has vowed to continue fighting a proposal to reduce the number of police based in Bluff. Sharon Rees has more.
A meeting was held in Bluff last night to discuss the proposal to reduce police numbers in the town. The public was invited to the meeting so they could have a better understanding of the proposal and voice whatever concerns they may have to police.
Well, I feel it went really well. We had probably over 200 people at the meeting. They were able to vent their concerns, probably and anger in some respects, to the Southland Area Commander Lane Todd regarding the proposed cuts to the Bluff Police Station.
And what was the general feeling from the public?
Of real concern. They feel that because of the proposal that crime in Bluff will increase, and even for call-outs the response time from Invercargill will increase as well, and they're concerned on all those issues. We know that frontline Invercargill is under-resourced as well, so if they've got to spend more time in Bluff going into the future, it means it's going to leave Invercargill more vulnerable. And if I was a resident of Invercargill, I'd be very concerned about that as well.
And what kind of reaction did Inspector Lane Todd have to the public?
Lane, he said he took everyone on board. He said the proposal's not finalised. He's going to take these proposals away and go over them, and we just hope we do, because we've looked at it that what he stated earlier, that it's a purely business proposal. We're looking at it from a business aspect. They've got to make savings to put more staff in office jobs, and they've looked at the whole Southland area and are targeting just Bluff alone to make those savings.
So what will the Community Board do from here?
Well, the Community Board is ongoing campaign. We will be writing to the Minister of Police. We've got a petition going which we present to the Lane Todd and probably the District Commander in Dunedin. We'll be writing submissions and just carry on with our campaign at the moment through the media.
And do you think the public response will have any effect on the decision from police?
Well, I would like to think so. You know, he was down there to listen to the public. As he said, he took on board the concerns of the public. So I'd like to think that when he goes away and reviews everything what was said last night, they will review the whole process.
Invercargill MP Sarah Dowie also attended the meeting and said she'll be watching the matter closely. She said she had secured an agreement that if the proposal goes ahead, it'll be closely monitored to ensure Bluff is not left in a bad position. The proposal is still in its consultation process and awaiting police decision. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
The majority of New Zealand has been spending up big in the new year, but Southlanders seem to be cutting back. The Paymark network, which processes more than 75% of all electronic transactions in New Zealand, released a report showing spending is up in the new year for the country as a whole. But while spending was up $230 million on this time last year, Southlanders seem to have resisted the urge to spend. Spending value for Southland was down 1.8% or $2 million from January 2014. And Paymark figures may reflect the slumped dairy prices and dry summer conditions that have led to a loss in farmer confidence, with pessimists outnumbering optimists for both the general economy and farm profitability. The latest Federated Farmers Farm Confidence Survey shows nearly 80% of dairy farmers expect profitability to worsen following a very strong 2013-14 season that saw record returns. The dry summer is also affecting sheep and beef farmers' profit expectations. Farmers are sending more stock to slaughter earlier than usual, reducing schedule prices. Pessimism about profitability is reflected in farmers' spending intentions, with more farmers now expecting to reduce spending, especially dairy farmers. And for the first time since the global financial crisis, more farmers expect to increase debt than reduce it. This year will mark the Anzac centenary, and the Reserve Bank of New Zealand are giving Kiwis a pocket-sized piece of memorabilia.
For the first time in New Zealand history, a coloured legal tender coin will be in circulation. A 50-cent coin will be on sale to the public from next month to commemorate the Anzac landings on the Gallipoli Peninsula. RBNZ said 1 million of the special coins have been minted to represent New Zealand's population at the start of the First World War. The coin will be black and white and will feature New Zealand and Australian soldiers with their heads bowed in remembrance. The hammerhead shark pattern symbolises strength, and the silver fern reflects the country's national identity. The coins will be released in post shops and Kiwibank branches nationwide on the 23rd of March and sold at their 50-cent face value.
A mobile app launched in Southland aims to direct mothers to the nearest breastfeeding-friendly facility. Breastfeeding's Ultimate Refuel Place, or BURP, is an app released by the Wealth South Primary Health Network and Southern DHB to promote breastfeeding-friendly facilities in Southland. BURP will display the venues via an icon on a map, along with photos of the venue and an opportunity for mothers to leave feedback. Wealth South says the app is an opportunity to instill confidence in mothers when out in public and create staff awareness in public venues. Coming up after the break, New Zealand's flawed maritime laws. No licence, no warrant and no rego. We take a look at how Kiwi boaties roll. Welcome back. One Southland man is determined to take on New Zealand's boating industry in a bid to get recreational craft warranted and registered. Lee Burford strongly believes there's a major safety gap with no current regulations around mechanical boat safety, and perhaps more surprisingly, there is no compulsory licensing system. In New Zealand, we must prove we are safe to drive a car, a plane or even own a gun. So why is it, with an estimated 29% of Kiwis hitting the water, boat owners are not required to prove they are safe to skipper a boat? It's a question that's gaining momentum following the recent release of a report from Transport Accident Investigation Commission, which is recommending a boat licensing system be introduced. However, with more boats on the water than ever before, indicators are there has been improvement in boaties gaining knowledge voluntarily.
It's definitely getting better, but having said that, there's also a lot more boats now than there ever used to be. You go down to Bluff now on a fine day and there might be 30, 40, 50 boat trailers out there. I can go back 20 years, there might have been 3. So although probably the standard is definitely getting a little bit better, the numbers doing it are a lot greater, which means in terms of the idiots might be 5% now, there might have been 10% 10 years ago, but it's 5% of a hell of a lot bigger number. So you're still getting a lot of cowboys out there doing very, very silly things, and it's just sheer luck a lot of the time that there aren't a lot more accidents.
Tom Sawyer has been teaching and examining boaties for 25 years and says accidents are unavoidable.
It appears to quite a large percentage of New Zealand males are quite convinced that because they're male, they can go out and drive a boat without any training or anything like that at all, which of course is patently not true.
In 2013, 19-year-old Jason Burford lost his life in a boating accident, and his father believes tighter regulations could have saved him.
Well, I believe these licensing systems should be in place, warrant fitnesses on vessels. I don't want to see any people go through what we've gone through.
He says no licensing, boating warrant of fitness or registration requirements are adding to a system that's fundamentally flawed.
The problem was he had an auxiliary motor that was put on there. The bracket was designed for a 9 horsepower auxiliary, but he put on a 25 horsepower auxiliary. He did not realise what would have happened if there was a certificate of compliance on that vessel and a plate on that bracket saying 9 horsepower maximum. He would have picked up on that, I'm dead certain of it. He was a motor mechanic by trade, he wasn't a fool.
The overpowered outboard created a hole in the second-hand boat, which then took on water.
Not only is it theoretical experience, you've got to have some practical experience. And if he had gone out with other boaties beforehand and had that practical experience, he'd have been right.
However, not everyone agrees compulsory licensing would help, instead supporting voluntary training.
If you go licensing, that implies a bureaucracy to license it, to police it, and that of course means that there'll be a charge, the user pay, there'll be a charge, and it gets very messy. Whereas if you have compulsory teaching, and Coast Guard education do basic boating courses, at least you know that people have been taught the basic rules of how to behave in boats, the basic safety things.
Bluff Fisherman's ship-to-shore radio operator Mary Leask believes policing all boaties would be difficult.
If Maritime New Zealand is looking at this, They need to have people on the ramps, otherwise it's not going to work.
It's not a new issue, with historic reports saying there could be lives saved with compulsory licensing.
Well, not having any licences and proof that those people have been trained is a big anomaly. I believe it should be cleaned up. And it should be enforced by law. There should be maritime police, be more and more of them trained up. Yes, it's going to cost the taxpayer a bit of money. Your boat trailer goes in for a $35 warrant. All they do on that is check your lights, check your brakes and your towing hitch. Your vessel that is on it should have a certificate of compliance to show that it is of up to water safety standard. All the radios, GPS locators, personal locator beacons, all that stuff can be on it. All the safety equipment should be on it, the life jackets, the life vests, and it should be rated for the particular number of people that you wish to carry.
Burford intends to continue his campaign until he sees change.
The safety standards have got to be upped and made law. Put some teeth into it. From here on in, I'd like to see it made law, and if I have to, we will go to our local MPs and start the ball rolling there. That's got to be a step, got to be a start, and give Maritime New Zealand some teeth.
A spokesperson for Maritime New Zealand said today compulsory education through licensing is something that's been looked at in the past, and based on take recommendations, Maritime New Zealand will be looking at it again before year end. Margot Southland, South Today News. Let's take a look at the weather now.
Your forecast on Q is brought to you by Environment Southland. Environment Southland wants to know what you think about our recreational water areas. Where do you go? What do you do? And your thoughts about the water quality. You could win one of 5 $100 vouchers simply by completing their survey. The survey will help them find out whether the water is being tested in the right places and how the service can be improved. Complete the survey online by going to Environment Southland's website or pick up a hard copy from Environment Southland, the Southland District Council, Gore District Council, Invercargill City Council or Public Health South.
And taking a look at today's temperatures, a reasonable spread across the country. Auckland cracked up a reasonable day with 24 the high there, Christchurch on 21, 18 for Wellington, Dunedin on 20, Queenstown 17, Invercargill City a high of 15 today. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we can expect mainly fine conditions with coastal morning cloud and light winds. Stewart Island has the overnight high of 10 tonight and 15 forecast tomorrow, partly cloudy in Riverton with 18 and fine conditions for Wyndham and Winton. Gore has the jump on Invercargill with 21 degrees and the expected high and partly cloudy skies for Tuatapere, Te Anau and Queenstown chasing highs of 24 and 25 respectively. In the marine forecast for Fovo, westerly 20 knots easing to variable 10 knots, moderate seas easing and a southwest swell of 2 metres. For Pusiga, 15 knot westerly will ease to 10 knots overnight, changing to northwest late tomorrow morning, rising to 30 knots by night. Sea becoming rough with southwest swell of 3 metres easing. In the long range forecast for Thursday, increasing high cloud with northwesters developing, showers overnight and a southwest change. Showers and southwesterlies becoming fine on Friday with winds dying out, and Saturday mainly fine with light winds. And that's it from the news team this Tuesday. Tom is along next with sport from us. Good night.